Welcome back, Bulletproof Ballers. We are absolutely rolling. Today's podcast will be about the first stage that we take people through in Bulletproof Ballers, which is rejuvenate. Kadeem, how are you feeling? Excited to be here?
Feeling good, excited to be here as always, obviously.
Another pod, absolute weekly. We're banging them out. We're going.
100%.
So, yeah, you want me to get right into it?
Let's get into it. Rejuvenate. What does that invoke in people? Like, what do they even know what that means? I think we gotta define that first.
Big
right?
word.
Yeah,
That's a big word for Kadeem.
Initially,
Yeah, so the definition of rejuvenate is to give new energy or vigor to revitalize or to restore youthfulness, right? So, in the context of something like knees, this would then be getting rid of pain, helping the knee to feel like a normal knee again, right? Not being stiff, not feeling all bad. Like it's getting it to feel a little bit normal again. Like, that's what we want to do in the rejuvenate phase, so that we can start getting into that harder stuff of the rebuild, of the joint dominance, of the mobility, of the plyometric ability. It all starts with the preparation of the healthy tissues in the rejuvenate stage, right, Kadeem?
absolutely crucial step that we can't skip. Really, right? It's just another stepping stone for the full recovery. 100%.
And then what are the three main things that we're going to get people to do in this, Kadeem?
In the rejuvenate, one, we need to make sure, cool, we're getting the freaking blood flow there, okay? The circulation is number one. Second thing then is to make sure as well that we get the body composition going, okay? Because every extra pound that you have is an extra 4 pound on your knees, okay? So getting rid of that as well to get that youthfulness back, right? Feel lighter, less pressure on that knee. Last but not least, the nutrition. We need to nail it down as well, because the blood flow that we want to be generating, we want to have a lot of nutrients in there, because ultimately that's the goal, right? The blood flow brings the nutrients. We got to get a healthy nutrients in. We got to be able to get those nutrients that actually help to reduce inflammation. So that's the three things. Yeah.
So 3 points that we're going to go through today: blood flow, getting blood flow to the knee, reducing the inflammation within inside the body, and a body fat recomposition. You do all these things, I promise you that your knee's going to start feeling better, right?
Yep.
So let's go one by one. Blood flow. How are we getting? Actually, no. Let's go inflammation first, because like you said, if you don't have healthy blood, then pumping that blood into the knee, like the nutrients that you really, really want, aren't going to be in the blood anyway. So it's not going to be as beneficial to the knee. It's still going to be beneficial for sure. Like the body's a beautiful thing. But if you got all gunk in your blood because you're eating Haagen-Dazs every day, then issues. Actually, like there's a couple flavors of Haagen-Dazs that are completely unprocessed, so not too bad, but the sugary ones for sure are bad. So the way that we do that is through our Bulletproof Health Protocol, right, Kenny?
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'll let you go into this one. I know you like this topic.
Yeah, Bulletproof Health Protocol, man. Like, again, we've recorded a full workshop, by the way. If you're listening to this, going through that as well, right? Bulletproof Health Protocol is one full day. Main things really is going to be one, obviously, the nutrition.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that your nutrition is going to be involved in your health, okay? Highly involved, right? So we try and keep it as simple as possible for people. Stay away from the highly inflammatory foods, okay, which includes obviously the junk food, the seed oils, right? That's the two biggest chunks, like two biggest bang for bucks that you could start implementing right away. Cut out the seed oils, get the junk food out of the way, and get more whole food in, okay? Protein rich, unprocessed food that actually makes your body feel good, that was intended for our body from nature, okay? So that includes animal protein, that includes fruits, right? A lot of fruits, vitamins. We need the vitamins. That also can include carbs, right? To some extent, we need to get it all in, right? And it's going to be individual for each person. But again, like nailing that down, the basic things of cutting out the inflammatory food, getting the sugar, most of the sugar, especially the processed sugar, out, that's already going to be massive, right? People can experience flare-ups just by eating more sugar one day, and then they feel the next day, oh yeah, my knee is hurting more. Okay, so it is really more impactful than you probably think. All right, so getting the nutrition right there is number one. If you want to see more details there, as I said, the workshop. Okay. Second, then you can use nature, right? It's not just the food, but also nature, right? Just simple things. going outside, watching the sunset, grounding, all these things, they help you improve your sleep, which again is going to be massive, and they help you reduce inflammation as well, proven by the studies. Okay, grounding, watching sunset, sunrise, also simple things. Okay, so that's with the Bulletproof Health.
And cell health.
Oh yeah, cell health. Almost forget about it, man. Like honestly, that's the base of the base. Okay, like we know that nowadays with all that imbalance of omega-6 or omega-3, our cells get really rigid, right? They're absorbing the nutrients much less efficiently than they should be, and releasing the toxins much less efficiently than they should be. So by rebalancing that omega-3 to 6 ratio, we get more fluid cell membranes, which again is going to form the foundation for your cells to be healthy and actually absorb the nutrients. And we're made up of cells, right? So that is the basic foundation. If you're nailing that down, you get that back into balance. Yep. That is also going to massively help, right? And that's why professional teams, they're really big on that as well. It's probably one of the first supplements people are going to take if they're actually serious about their performance and health.
Exactly. So yeah, decreasing inflammation there, nutrition, cell health, sleep, nature's gifts, getting all of the stuff in, like, it's going to be a beauty, and that's really the first step. And it's not just going to help you short term from getting rid of inflammation, but it's going to really help you long term. It's going to help your brain to be so much better. Like I was listening to a brain expert the other day. His protocol for the brain is the exact same protocol that we have for the knees. It's to get more blood flow to the brain and to decrease inflammation. And it's like, so the body works the same pretty much everywhere to a certain extent. Yeah. So nutrition, sort out that stuff, sort out the sleep, amazing, cool. That's a great start, right? So that's going to allow us to start getting that healthy blood, to start recovering properly. Amazing. Next thing then is the blood flow side of stuff, and this is really where we come into our territory with the training and all that kind of stuff. Yep. So an example I love to give again, like shout out to Keegan's 1 Hour Athlete, bang if no one's seen it, but two things I always say from his that I've gotten from it is, if I was to smash my arm on this table right here, the body would swell up and it would put loads of heat there and it would try and send loads of blood flow and try and heal it, right? And that's our body doing the job. So if we then take an ice pack, put that ice on there and numb it and take away that, one, we're taking away the pain signal to our brain, the communication, which is super, super important. And then two, we're actually stopping the body from doing its natural thing, right? Because the body's not stupid. The body's not going to be like, oh, no, actually, I don't want to heal. That stuff that you did to me, it's fine. If you have a cut on your leg or anywhere, and I got this all the time when I was kids, I was climbing up trees, I was going everywhere, so I had cuts all over, right? What you would notice is that it starts to scab, right? So if you keep picking at the scab, you keep picking at the scab, you keep picking at the scab, it's going to get worse and worse and worse, right? But if you let your body do its job or even help it by speeding stuff up, it's going to be so much better, right? So when we're putting on ice, that's the same thing to a certain extent of like picking off the scab, because you're delaying the healing process because it wants to go through that warmth, that healing, that blood flow, all that kind of stuff, right? So for something like the knee, obviously there's time and place for ice because it is like a numbing agent. If you're just off surgery or something like that, like a major injury, and your doctor tells you to ice, I'm not going to say, nah, your doctor's silly, right? He's the one that performed the surgery, probably knows what he's doing to a certain extent, right? But if it's like a ankle sprain or like the knee's been doing it for a while or whatever, like we need to start to actually help the body to get to a state where we can start fixing it, which is through like the movement side stuff, right? So blood flow, the main two things that we love in this is one, concentric dominant pumps, the pleasure pump, the grease the groove. We love that stuff, right, Kadeem?
Yeah.
And what that pretty much means, again, a lot of big words, concentric dominant, there's two ways in a movement. For example, say the reverse step up. On the way down, on the reverse step up, that's going to be the eccentric. That's going to be where the tissues break down. That's when we're going to cause the most muscle damage, all that kind of good stuff. On the way up, that's then the concentric, right? The concentric still gets work to the area, but you're less strong on the concentric. It's going to break down less tissues. So when we're saying concentric dominant pumps, we mean stuff like the sled, right? Or even backwards walking or banded knee extensions or banded hamstring curls, getting loads of blood flow in the front and the back of the knee through the concentric dominant movements. You can do this a couple times a day, like sleds, band and knee extensions. Like when I had my quad tendon, I first done, I was doing band and knee extensions like 3-4 times a day because it's not breaking down the tissues, but it's getting blood flow there. And I needed that healing. I needed that stimulation to start with. So we're getting it there a lot, right? So yeah, much to say on that.
Yeah, this is really blood flow. Like there's obviously the exercise side of things where you generate that blood flow, as you said, with the backwards walking and the band and knee for the knee, and that's really great because the reason why we're doing mainly concentric dominant as well is because that's much easier, right? It's not going to put a lot of pressure on your knee joint, for example, right? Band and knee extension, pretty much everyone can do it to some extent. Okay, obviously we're not stopping there, but the goal of this isn't to make your knee bulletproof or strengthen it. The goal is to bring the blood flow there, right? So that's why we're going. You always have to see it in the whole picture. So beautiful thing, 100%. Get the blood flow there through exercise. Also, you'll notice, like instead of an ice pack, get an Epsom salt buff in or a heat pack.
I literally have that written down as well.
Yeah, you'll notice, like I had a call with someone the other day where they were doctors. Her doctors recommended her to ice, right? When her knee swell up like crazy, like she's dealing with some crazy damage, knee swells up. Doctors tell her to ice, but what she instinctively does is to get an Epsom salt bath and says that helps her much more, right? Because that is actually helping that swelling up, like that inflammation is there for a reason, okay? It's trying to heal something. There's something still a lot of damage in her knee, right? Cartilage damage. And then we want to make sure we allow that circulation to happen and even stimulate it more, right? By getting an Epsom salt bath in.
Yeah. Yeah, and something to mention on that as well is like anti-inflammatory drugs, right? I have so many people come to me that say they're taking anti-inflammatory drugs. Well, there's actual things come out and shown that the anti-inflammatory drugs, yeah, they might chill out for the meantime, but over the long time, it actually damages the cartilage. So there's like these short-term icing, anti-inflammatories, all this kind of stuff for a short term. If you're like super in pain, cool, take them because like obviously that's a lot of like mental trauma, all that kind of stuff. But like long term, like people have seen, like again, it's not like us telling you what to do. It's just like what we're seeing in these people. Like the studies are showing that the anti-inflammatories are breaking down cartilage over long periods of time. So over the long term, it's not actually good. Icing is delaying the healing process. So over the long term, it's not good. So again, it's just stuff to think about in what you want to do. And yeah, I didn't talk about the flossing there really. I talked about the extensions. So you want to get into flossing?
Flossing, 100%, another one. Like it's just different tools that we're using. That's a beautiful thing, right? We're like with the flossing, again, it costs like $20 on Amazon. I feel like every person that is looking to keep healthy knees or get healthy knees should invest into floss pads, right? Like it's a simple tool, and the beauty of it is that you have different benefits. One is going to be the blood flow restriction, okay? Right, so you're restricting blood flow for a certain amount of time, at least the blood pumping in, right? Like blood pumping out. So what you're doing basically is going through the motion, you get more and more pump within the knee, more and more pump, right? Because you're restricting the blood flow. And then once you take those off, you will literally feel that circulation happening, right? And that's one thing. Then other thing with the floss bands as well, you can see it's wrapping around the knee, but in an elastic way. So it's not going to restrict you from, for example, going into a deep knee bend. Actually, what we've seen is it helps a lot of people to get into a deep knee bend, right? Because it supports the knee. It gives some extra support. It compresses, it serves almost like a massage around those tissues, right? And makes your knee a little bit more comfortable to push a little bit more and get the circulation going, get into that deep range, okay? So beautiful thing again with the floss bands.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, first two steps there, increase blood flow, decrease inflammation, right? Then the third thing that we had on our list is then the body recomposition, right? And Keem went into a little bit of this to start with. But the entire goal of our kind of strength for the knee over time is relative strength, right? So if you see our standards, it's all done in like percentages of body weight rather than it is done in like this much weight, right? Because your strength in your knee comparison to your body weight, like relative strength, is going to be the most important thing. Because if you have non-functional mass, such as fat on your upper body, say you have an extra pound of that, an extra 4 pound of stress is then going on the knee when you're running, doing sport, all that kind of stuff, right? So if you've got pain on your knee and you've got an extra pound, say if you're like 20% body fat, if we can get from 20% down to 10%, do you know how much less stress that's going to be on the knee? And that doesn't mean like, oh yeah, my knee's just going to be amazing. But what it does mean is that you're going to be putting less pressure on it. So then your knee starts to feel better. So then you can start to put more pressure on it over time in the right ways, right? Because yeah, pressure does adapt a joint. But if you've got too much pressure on the knee to what it can handle right now with that extra weight on that extra fat, then getting that off is going to allow the knee to start doing some stuff better, right? So we can use tools like the sled. We can start to play around with our nutrition, with our sleep, with our hormones, and start to track our calories, maybe as well, eat more protein, eat less processed food. And all this stuff is going to help with our body composition and get it down. Like, obviously, like I said, for men and women, it is going to be different levels. Like women hold more fat and stuff like that. I'm not a woman, so I can't speak on that, but Kadeem might be. So
I'm not an expert either. To be fair, to be completely honest, there, but it's common sense, right? That we're using 100%.
And for a man, like I say, like under 15% is healthy, right? In my opinion. And if you look at the best athletes in the world, if you're trying to be an athlete, I hate to break it to you, they're usually under 10%, right? They usually are. Kadeem's under 10%. I'm not quite there, but he's very shredded. Right.
Yeah, 100%. Like, again, so it makes a lot of sense especially once you start seeing it in the combination, right? Because someone might say, yeah, I can't exercise my knee because it's hurting too much because I'm too fat, or like because I'm too, heavy. Now what we're saying is, cool, you can do this concentric dominant that is really, really, your weight could even help you, right? In the sled, if you're heavier, the weight is going to help you to move the sled faster, right? So you're getting that blood flow still. At the same time, it helps you to lose weight. So it goes like hand in hand. And at the same time, you're nailing down the nutrition. Like, you're getting less knee pain, you're losing body fat, and you're decreasing the inflammation in your body. Bang, banger. Okay, that's the goal. That's the freaking goal.
Those three things rolling.
Yep.
If someone comes in and they just done those three things to start with, the knee's going to be in such a better place. You'll notice it, and it doesn't take too long either. Like, okay, a month of sticking to this stuff, cool. You might be in a position where you can start rebuilding the knee joint and start making some real stuff. Okay, maybe we can start doing the eccentric loading, doing step ups. Or maybe I can start tolerating a really light split squat. Maybe. Just maybe. And it's going to be much easier if you don't have an extra 10 pounds, 20 pounds of fat, because all that load on one leg in a split squat, it's going to help you with your exercises as well, right? Like, the only two exercises where it's more beneficial to be fat is one, the sled, two, the seated good morning, because you have that belly to touch the bench first, right? Yeah. But yeah, if you get these three down, going to be in an amazing position, right?
Yep, 100%. And it's really good to think about. There was something I wanted to say that now it left my mind.
My bad, I took it away.
No. Give me a second. I'll get it back.
Right, let me spit some gold.
Yeah, spit some gold. I'll get it back.
So yeah, basically this is the first stage. Like, we do have 3 stages which we like to take people through when they come to work with us. So the rejuvenation is the first one. The rebuild is the second one, and then the return to sport is the third one. And they need to be done in that order, because if we missed the one before, we usually can't get on to the next one, right? So I have the most amount of people that come to us are like in that just before they return to sport, and they haven't nailed down that rebuild. So when they go to return to sport, their knee starts to flare up. Oh, like every time I go to jog, my knee flares up, but I'm getting really good at the strength training. Well, you're not. Clearly, like, your tissue tolerance isn't quite there, so we're not building it up in the right way. Maybe we're not doing building the actual pliers and all that kind of stuff up in the right way as well. But also, like, have you got enough joint strength? Like, have you got enough joint mobility? I don't know. I was like, okay, can you get into a deep squat? Nah. Okay, you can't get into a deep squat, but you're going about jogging thinking that your knee's not going to flare up. So you haven't done the rebuild properly, is what you're telling me. Oh, yeah, but it hurts my knee to get into a deep squat when I do rebuild. Okay, well, spend some more time in the rejuvenate.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really, yeah, like, and this stuff is not like setting you back in your journey. It's really, if you look at it, this is what allows you to stay in the game long term, right? Like skipping steps, really not most aspects of life. You can't skip any steps, right? If not, at some point you're gonna notice, right? You're gonna notice if there wasn't enough healing done. Yeah, you might be able to hide it for a period of time by really building just strong muscles. But if there's still internal damage that you haven't built that joint strength, at some point that might come up again, right? So we really want to spend the time there. And the thing that I wanted to mention that I got back was when you said, okay, people are coming in, rejuvenate, and what can actually happen. Like a specific example that you had, I don't know, it's probably already a year ago. Someone come in and within 3 weeks get off anti-inflammatories, right?
Yeah.
Like,
so Keegan was on anti-inflammatories for 5 years.
yeah,
and he came into us, and to start with, I just gave him this stuff. So I told him to sort out the nutrition stuff, sort out all the stuff, decrease the inflammation, and then also to start doing banded knee extensions every day, start doing the Epsom salt baths, start doing all that kind of stuff. Within 3 weeks, he had gotten to the point where he was off anti-inflammatory drugs. Okay, all the inflammation wasn't gone because it's a long case, but he had been taking anti-inflammatories for 5 years. So imagine that long-term damage from that. He actually emailed me. He stopped working with me after like 4 or 5 months because we got him to a good position. He just wanted to be able to play like paddle again. I think it was paddle. And he emailed me saying like a year later saying like, Liam, by the way, like I carried on doing the stuff after I left the coaching. Like my knee feels better than ever. I want to send one of my mates to you. I was like, wow, like it's great to hear from you. Like that's awesome. And the fact that he's been on the anti-inflammatories for so long and then found this other route where it's like, no, you can actually do something about your position. It's not saying, oh no, we're the better route, or like your doctors are stupid, your physio is stupid. There's a bunch of great physios and doctors. But what it is saying is more of a, look, all of these people, even me, even Kadeem, right? We're not in your body. We're not going to be able to fix anything for you. You have to do something, right? And that's the hope we give. Okay, look, start using these tools. Try this out. How does that feel for you? Yeah? Okay. Oh, that feels good. My knee's starting to feel better. Okay, do more of that. Okay, why don't you try this as well? Oh no, that one doesn't feel good. Okay, don't do that one then. It's just giving you avenues to be able to explore so that you can sort yourself out. Because that's what I did, that's what Kadeem did, that's what everyone like that comes into our coaching does. We just give things to try and see, okay, this is what's worked with other people, try these out, and wow.
It works beautiful, almost wonders, I would say, right? Like it's no magic that we're doing. Like this is what we're doing, right? We're using nature's gifts. We're using simple concepts. There's no magic, but the results, they do seem like magic sometimes.
It's just lifestyle changes for that kind of stuff as well. Like,
yeah.
Amazing.
It's beautiful.
So yeah, I think that was kind of peak, right?
Yeah, 100%.
20 minutes, leave it there. Banger,
yeah. Hope this helps.
Maybe we'll go through rebuild next time and then return to sport after that. Maybe that'd be helpful for the people.
Yep, absolutely. 100%. Let's do it. See you next time then. Let's go. Let's make Wallace proof again.